How could the Vasa possibly survive after over 300 years of lying on the bottom of the sea? I've been getting a lot of questions about this, which is totally fair, so let's dive into it. So the ship sunk in Stockholm Harbor, and though it felt unlucky at the time, this was sort of key for preservation. The first reason is because this was in protected shallow waters, so it was shielded from the storms and strong currents in the open sea. Because the ship was newly built and sank in this cold, dark, and almost oxygen-free water with very low salt content, the durable wood stayed pretty well preserved beneath the mud, besides a few centimeters that degraded from bacteria. However, almost all of the 5,000 iron fastenings that held the ship together corroded. To retrieve the sunken ship, there were a lot of creative ideas flowing around, like filling the hull with ping pong balls or freezing it into a giant ice cube, but they ended up spending about 2 years to have some Navy divers dig 6 tunnels under the ship, pulling up with these massive steel cables connected to 2 floating pontoons. However, once it was pulled back up, the ship was exposed to oxygen, which it hadn't been before, and this started to cause the wood to crack and shrink, so they began to use a water-soluble wax and put new bolts in to hold the ship together. In 1965, they installed an automatic spray system instead of the handheld sprays that they had been using thus far. This spraying treatment lasted for 17 years as the ship gradually dried out and then the air humidity decreased. They treated the wood with 1 extra layer of the wax, and then the conservations were considered complete. However, once all these visitors started flooding in to see the Vasa, they realized the humidity around the ship was much harder to control than they thought. They actually brought in an international group of chemistry and conservation specialists to study the ship and upgraded the climate control system to stabilize the wood. After seeing all the stars that had to align to be able to marvel at this ship today, it's not hard to wonder why it's the world's only preserved 17th century warship. I have a ton of more interesting travel wrecks coming your way, so don't forget to hit follow to see some more bucket list worthy stops.